Welcome back, all! Okay, so as you can see, I've made my way down to the observation room here, and for point of reference, it's literally right in front of the castle. So I like to, use the shrine and fly down to this point, but, you can get here however you'd like. Alright, so there's going to be a couple of black Horroblins in there. If you can, just go ahead and get down this hole as quick as possible, and then you really shouldn't have to bother with them. Now, I've kind of already cleared this little section out, this descending stairwell. So if you'd like to kind of see the walkthrough on this part, be sure and check out my previous video. Alright folks, so I'm actually looking for a room right now, a loot spot, before we get all the way down. I think this is it. There should be some loose weapons in here. This is not it. I think I gotta go down one more. And the reason being, we're going to be needing a lot of rock hammers. So I would grab both of these claymores here, and here in a moment we're going to be finding a couple of rocks that we can attach to those guys. Just to kind of prevent us from using weapons and whatnot that we really don't want to have to use to get through that stuff. Alright folks, so go ahead and take a moment to read the sign here, get a little bit of lore there for you. And as I mentioned, I will be attaching rock weapons here. Or rock hammers, I should say. Alright, so again, I've already kind of previously busted through this and cleared this area out. But there are a couple of gemstones in here you can bust up and grab. And there will be a electric like right here. So again, if you want to see all this up to this point, do be sure and check out that previous video. Alright, so from here, always take the time to get your gemstones, of course. There's actually a bubble frog down here. He's pretty easy to get because he's kind of trapped down there. He really has nowhere to go, but if he sees you, he's going to start getting all over the place, and it'll kind of be hard to hit him. So what I like to try to do is smack him in the head before he even notices I'm there. Alright, and you'll notice the Breath of the Wild style. Hey, that rhymes. Breath of the Wild style. Whatever that is, the spiky ivy, or spiky... spiky bushes. Alright, don't forget your bomb flowers. There's quite a few of those in this cavern system. And I think I mentioned to y'all before, this is a really long cave. So I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as I can while not missing, a bunch of loot. But a main reason I wanted to come here earlier in the game, yeah, we already have our Royal Guards, uniform on, but there's another clothing set you can get throughout this cave system. It's going to be the soldier's armor or whatever. So, I don't know. In my mind, it just gives you a little more flexibility. So if you have the materials for one set of armor, say for pants, and then, in an entirely different set of armor, you've got the materials to upgrade, say, the hat, then you can kind of pick and choose what you wear to maximize your armor rating. Okay, so I did mention, stone hammers or rock hammers. You're going to be going through them, guys. Now, this very first thing that you have to tunnel through, kind of stick to the right. A cavern's going to open up here. And there's, it's not a ton of stuff, but there are some collectibles in here that are worthwhile. Namely the bomb arrows. I think there's a couple of alien mushrooms, nothing else really in here. Oh, another bomb arrow. Or bomb flower, I should say. Okay, so from here, there's really only one way we can go. And try to not break all the rocks, just kind of the little nooks that you need to be able to fit through to get through. That'll kind of save a little bit of the wear and tear on the weapons here. Okay, so now this is going to open up into this room here. And this is going to be the first of our armor set. Alright, so now there's going to be some baddies in here. Nothing terribly threatening, but it's tight quarters, so, you know, might be a little bit of close quarters combat here to deal with, but, you know, again, it's not too threatening. If they hit you, they hit you. Assuming you're not walking around with, like, only half a heart, you should be okay to take a few hits. Alright, so there's one more behind bars here, and that's where our treasure chest is. So for right now, you know, it'll come back to all this stuff. For right now, we're just going to kind of get in that cell with old boy there. I think there's another bomb flower down here too, yep. Ah, 2 of them, even better. So you don't really have to guess too much on this one, just kind of get to the end of this little cave and ascend, and that should pop you right in here where that cavity is, where the third dude is. Okay, and there you have it. Piece number 1. Now, it's not better in armor than what we're already wearing, but it is, like I said, everything has its own unique materials for upgrades. Whoops. Bunch of loose arrows in these crates. Alright, so you can actually use the sun somewhere in the middle now, just, you know, assuming you're out past that gate. That'll save you a little bit of a climb to get back out of that hole there. Alright, so rusty broadsword is no bueno. But what I am looking for is that two-handed swinger. Again, not great weapon, but we need rock hammers. Alright, folks, so there is piece number 1. You know what, and I think I actually will be able to mark these. The map isn't really helpful, unfortunately. I wish they kind of had cave maps or any kind of underground area. But, you know, we got to do the best with what we've got here, so... Alright, now this blue stone, it's going to take more than one swing to bust through this stuff. This is where you're really going to start tuning up rock hammers. Alright, just like that. Alright, now this is the cavern of many directions. It's going to get confusing. So now, in case you're wondering, all of those things are breakable. Sometimes they'll drop a luminous stone here and there, but they don't hide any entrances or exits, so it's really just for farming purposes those would be. The way out is straight, but before we do that, there's a couple of little secret cubbies I will take a moment to point out. You know, this is just going to take too long. Okay, so nothing, you know, nothing crazy. Oh, I can't do the swinging thing while you're crouched, so this is definitely going to be a bow situation. Okay, again, nothing too crazy in here, just, you know, some lootable items. Bomb arrows is really what I'm here to stock up on right now. I think that's pretty much it. But the real good cavern is right directly below me here. Now guys, this is where I said, if you've already gotten this far with me, this will be easy. There are 3 Horroblins in here and they're black, but we already know how to deal with these guys. Control your battlefield. You know, get yourself ready to rock and roll here. And I'm getting awful low on chew jellies. Okay, so this is one that we do need to bust through to get into this cave. All those other ones I showed you earlier, those go to nowhere, but this one actually does go somewhere. Okay, so it looks like our first customer is already on the ground, which is awesome. Now again, it's a busy situation. So what I'm going to try to do is draw one out here. Okay, it looks like I got one. Good deal. I really don't want to use that yet. I probably should have crafted a weapon before doing this. Come on. Where's he going? You coming to get me or what? Oh man, the other one saw me. Okay, so ideally, he'd come out here with me, but maybe I don't have that opening wide enough. Yeah, it must not have that opening wide enough. Now be careful, they will hit you, so this is probably a good save game point. But essentially, you can see I got them bottlenecked here. And their weapons are wooden. Okay, now I got them down to one, so I might as well just go in here and take care of the last one. Alright, so that's really the worst of it. You know, unless you really want to try to kill that Stalnox here later on, that's really the worst of it. Alright, so assuming you found a way past the 3 here. Now this is going to get super confusing, but if you can remember, there's really 2 main arteries here, and both have like an outlier on either side. And those just simply curve around and all meet back in the middle there. So this is really just one little circular cave. It's just confusing the way they have it all divided up. Alright, take a moment, get all your gemstones here. And there's also some, you know, collectibles, some lootable stuff. But what I'm really looking for is a false wall up top there. And it's got a secret gemstone waiting for you. Yeah, it's up there somewhere. I'll see it eventually. Alright, so again, that's why we came in here. Already went around that artery. And you can always use Ascend to get up on top of these wooden platforms. I'm only going to do it once because they're all kind of the same loot. So you guys can, you know, take the time to grab the other 2 there. Okay, the hardy truffles aren't great. But given, you know, the game doesn't really throw a lot of hardy stuff at us, I do tend to use these in cooking, just to kind of, you know, beef up the meal a little bit. A couple extra hearts never hurt anybody. Alright, so again, you know, platforms up there. I'm really just looking for the bombs and the hardy stuff. Oh, and if you're thinking, oh, I can just use my bow and arrow, knock the bomb flower down. You know, because I had that great idea last time I came through here. Nope, your arrow just simply detonates the bomb, and then you don't get the bomb. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for hardy. Where is that false wall? Oh, I think I just found it. Tough to see. It's like, oh, it's not it. Super camouflaged. There we go. Usually a pretty good topaz or something in here, ruby in this case. But worth your while nonetheless. Alright folks, so moving right along here. Feel free to harvest your luminous stones there. But for right now, and you can actually use a sin to get up here quicker. Just wasn't really paying attention there. But remember that blue wall? I said that's the way out. That is, in fact, the way out. Alright, so in case you're noticing my mini-map there, Probably looks like we're heading back toward Lookout Landing. And you would be right to assume so. Now, at this stage of the game, we cannot actually pop out of this cave into Lookout Landing. There is a way to do that, but that's after you defeat the first temple. So we're clearly not there yet in this walkthrough. So that'll be a later thing. Right now, I'm just kind of getting through the cave system, more or less for the lootable items, and definitely for the suit, the soldier's clothing set. Alright, so what I like to do, in case you're wondering, that's where the Stalnox is hiding. That's what I meant earlier when I said, if you really don't want to deal with him, you really don't have to because he's entombed. So, before I do that, however, I'm going to bust through this wall. This is going to take, I think, 3 bombs. 3 indeed. Alright, so now be careful in here. This one's going to be not friendly. There's an ice like in here. So what ends up happening is he freezes the floor and it gets real messy in here. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and plug him. I'm going to ready my spear. So I'm going to do it, you know, pretty traditionally. I'm going to wait for him to open his... Actually, no, scratch that. We do not want him to get a chance to freeze the water if we can help it, because like I said, it just gets real messy in here. So because he's ice, we can actually use a fire arrow, and that'll bring him right to us, and we can just kind of wail away and finish him off. Woohoo! And I need to make another weapon before I forget. Alright, might as well refresh my bow here. I don't have to refresh it. That's right, I broke a bow. Okay, so clothing set item number 2. Yep, closer and closer to Lookout Landing. Alright, I believe this is just more arrows. Feel free to break your crates there. Now, there is a chest up there. I'm not going to go get it, but, you know, if you do want it, you can actually ascend. You can find a sweet spot there, and, you know, you'll be standing on top of that shelf, essentially, but... there's like a knight's weapon in there, but, you know, my inventory's pretty busy already with what I got going on for rock cameras and whatnot, so I'm just going to kind of let that be. Okay, there are 2 tireless frogs in here. I don't know if you noticed, when I first walked in, one of them was kind of like already running away and he despawned. So hopefully you can at least get one of the 2, if not both. Alright, so that's pretty much it for that spot. So again, folks, this is where... So the reason this is such a tough fight... By the way, that is the way out there. That cave opening you see to my left over there. The reason this is such a tough fight is you're kind of isolated. There's a bunch of water here. There's really nothing close. At least not super close, you know. For cover, no pillars. There's nothing, you know, you can just jump on real fast and get a little air shot in unless you're willing to climb these taller areas. But, yeah, so anyway, it's just kind of a tough fight. You're real limited here. It's kind of close quarters. So use your discretion if you decide to take this guy on. Okay, so I finally found a loose weapon. That's good. I'm going to need it. You're probably going to go through like 4 or 5 rock hammers getting through this. And just so you know, if there's rocks, like, this is why I'm kind of working my way in from the outside. I was fighting this dude once, and I was trying to run from him, you know, to get a better angle on a bow shot or something. And I actually got hung up on one of these rocks, and I got stuck, and he killed me. So I learned my lesson, very valuable lesson. Break all the rocks that can possibly get you hung up. So, you know, even if they're way out of the way like that one, just, that's why I say kind of work on the outside and work your way in. And at some point you'll break enough of these away where he'll be able to come to life. So, unfortunately, this does not create a save point. When he wakes up, the game doesn't save itself. So essentially what's going to happen if you die, you've got to do all this all over again. So what you might want to do is when he frees himself, you might want to run off until it either triggers a save point or, you know, you just manually save the game. Oh, you know, unless you really don't mind swinging your rock hammer around for a while. I leave that up to you. Okay, so there he is. Now, hopefully I did a good job of clearing my area here. So now what I like to do is take advantage of these deals up here. I'm absolutely breaking out a good bow. And, you know, probably get a good weapon ready, which I actually didn't do. I don't really think I have time to make one now. I can try real fast and hope for the best. But he does throw stuff, so be aware. You might have some incoming objects here. Okay, this is where I try to get close to him, so you know you got a good shot on that eyeball. Okay, so the eyeball does not pop out yet. This is where I'm going to take advantage of a little bit of damage. Get away quick, because like I said, he hurts. He'll definitely one-hit you. And as long as you're moving around good, he shouldn't be able to hit you with the throwables. Okay, let's see if I can do this better from the air this time. Now, I don't know, sometimes I can get that eyeball to pop out a lot earlier, sometimes I can't apparently, so I'm just going to do this one the long way. And he's not doing that attack where he, like, you know, lands on his butt. I really was hoping I could demonstrate that for you, but it's just not cooperating. Come on. Come on. Nah, he ain't gonna do it. That's okay. I'll just kind of rinse, lather, and repeat with the bow and arrow deal here. He's almost dead anyway, as you can see. I'll tell you guys, these weapons make all the difference. Okay, that thing finally popped out of there. And once that happens, just wail away on it. You know, try to get between the eyeball and the Stalnox. So as you can see, I was targeting in there with my left trigger, and I was more or less preventing that eyeball from getting back to its host. You know, I just kept wailing on it there. So that's really the best way to get this thing killed. Again, guys, save that game, and hopefully that'll spare you from having to bust through that stone again. And, you know, one of the times it'll click for you, and you'll be able to get him killed. Alright, so really, you know, it's kind of a big risk with low reward. There's no treasure chest that pops out. Weapons ain't great. But, you know, we did get some monster parts out of the deal, so it wasn't for naught. Okay, now I am looking for a ledge. I think it's this one right here. There's a bomb flower up there, or a hardy truffle, or both. Okay, this one's the hardy truffle. Bomb flower's over here. I suppose I could mark that Stalnox, although it's really unmistakable, and it doesn't really lurch out at you, so yeah, it's okay. Alright, so to proceed, again, follow that waterway tunnel. And we're getting real close to Lookout Landing here at this point. As you can see on the mini-map, we're well into approaching the territory here. Uh-oh, I forgot about this dude. Yeah, be ready for ice bats. I normally plug that guy with an arrow before I get in here. So yeah, from, you know, down here, that's when you want to try to nail that bat with an arrow there. Alright, you know what? I think I'm okay. That spear, I don't know why I did that. Okay, so the only thing in here really is going to be a gemstones. Good ones too, you know, usually I get topaz or ruby, but that was kind of a bunk deal that trip. Alright, from here, I think there's one more bat. Electric. Maybe. Maybe not. Looks like maybe not. Okay, it's just regular then. Okay, so the cave just kind of spirals up. And you're going to have a lot more of these blue walls to punch through. Now you should have a little bit of an opportunity to deal with them before you actually come face to face. And I think this is my spot. Okay. So now you can, you know, either do that, or you can pick up the head and throw it in the water. That'll just kind of save the weapon a little bit. Assuming you can actually, you know, get to the head and pick it up. Simply pick the head up and then R or right bumper or whatever that is will kick him into the water. Alright, so jump down, get your loot. So another reason I like to come here earlier in the game, fairies. Never hurts to have some fairies in your pouch. You're going to be able to grab 3 of them in here. The trick to that is going to be super, super slow. So you're going to have to go super slow in here. Otherwise, you risk scaring them off. So, unfortunately, there's just a lot of stuff in here that you probably want. You know, the frogs, tireless, you know, those are always gold. The fish. But again, you know, you might be tempted to shoot them with the arrow or something to make sure you get them, but it just risks scaring away the real prize, which is the fairies. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do is hopefully dash to the end and get some land. Yes, good. And again, guys, super, super slow here. Now be careful, if you accidentally pick that rock up, the party's over. They're going to fly away. So make sure your action icon is actually showing the fairy and not, you know, that you're going to be spamming that button and accidentally do something else in here to scare them off. Going to require a little bit of patience. But they do eventually work their way down to where you can grab them. Normally I get 2 pretty quick and then there's just 1 that's a pain, but in this case it seems to be 2 that want to be a pain. Oh, that was so close. And again, it's got to say fairy, otherwise you're going to pick this rock up and he's gone. There we go. Alright, so assuming that worked out for you, that's what you should have in your pouch at this point. Good thing about the fairies, they automatically heal you when you die. And just like Breath of the Wild, you can hold up to 6 at a time. And in order to do that, essentially what you would want to do is only have 2 in your pouch at some point, and then go back for more fairies. Ideally, a place that would have 4 of them. That's why we came in. As deep in there as you can get them. Yeah, no. Okay, you're gonna have some of these dudes to pick up and toss. I think there's only 2 in here. But now we're at the point for the 3rd piece of armor. And there is going to be 1 more of those dudes in there. Unfortunately, I think he scares away any kind of critter you could pick up. So that's highly unfortunate. Okay, be careful. I blew myself up in here last time. I was a little too close to this structure, and yeah, that was a fun restart. Okay, now if there is a critter, I'm gonna shoot him with my arrow before Yeah, I don't see him this time. Or maybe I'm thinking of the last one. Sometimes they just all bleed together. Alright, so just regular Ike, like. And no need to go crazy on this dude. Howdy. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, just to kind of clear the chests. I think I'm going to start getting everything. Alright, folks, so there you have it. Full set. As you can see, it's same armor as what we're already wearing, just again, everything takes different materials to upgrade, so really the better, you know, options you have, the more likely you are to be able to up your overall defense rating. Okay, I don't know if there's a rock in here. So as you can see, we're almost making a straight beeline straight back to Lookout Landing. And at some point you're going to hear the music and you're going to know where you're at. Alright, so moving right along. Way out is right next to us here. Now you know why they load you up with bomb arrows. You are going through them in here, whether you want to or not. Alright, so there's another like in here. And you can... Actually, the way out is the top one of these two loose boulder walls. But you can actually blow up that lower one and it leads to a loot spot. Nothing great in there. I think a gemstone primarily. And I think you can actually use these like stones in a pinch. I'm going to test that theory real fast. I seem to remember being in a pickle. And that did the job. Okay, yeah, so same. Now just keep in mind it's going to use your inventory items doing that, but I don't know, to me, one like stone versus, you know, however many... I totally wasn't paying attention. So yeah, you might want to, like, come in here a little better than I just did and, you know, collect your lizards there. Alright, so moving right along, let's get out of this joint. Where am I going? Oh, it's really tough to see in here. Guess I'm climbing, that's okay. Oh, look. I'm a genius. Is the, just like in Breath of the Wild, there's a statue here you can interact with, and you can trade stamina for hearts, hearts for stamina. The thing is, it costs money to do that. But, you know, just as part of the storyline or whatever, it'll open up a little side quest or challenge, and it'll, you know, take one away from you without you expecting it, just like the other game. And then you'll be able to, you know, get one back. So actually, if you really wanted to, right now, you could absolutely trade in that 4th heart container for another stamina wheel. But again, because the hearty ingredients aren't, you know, quite as great in this game, I tend not to do that. I was tempted, but, you know, trying to think ahead here a little bit. So I'm not going to talk to it because it's time-consuming and whatnot, but it will absolutely take a heart from you, and then it will give you the option to have it back for free this time. Only the first time it's free, but you'll get it back in whatever form you want. All right, folks, so as I mentioned, we will not be able to get all the way through. Right on the other side of this is the shelter, or whatever, the bunker and lookout landing. Did I say that right? Lookout landing? Woohoo! I'm getting it. So, yeah, there you have it. We started all the way back here, and we basically just tunneled all the way to here. So now, again, this door will be open. Right on the other side of this is a lady with a broom just kind of staring at the wall. But again, after we complete that first temple, this will all be accessible, and that'll be a quicker way to get in here and get into this statue. All right, folks, so I hope that helps. Hope you had fun getting through the underground royal hidden passageway. Best of luck to you guys, and happy hunting!